Hi, welcome to one more episode of Zindagi Ka Safar. And Nilesh Sarvati is joining us all the way from Mumbai. And Nilesh and I go a long way, and there are a lot of similarities which we had, and we also have going forward. Both of us were engineers. We did an MBA at the same place. What you see behind is a swankier finance lab, which we had visited 6 years back when we had gone there. But both of us wanted to be a finance professional. I think both of us, the first job we wanted to be into equity market and equity research as an example. But then finally, both of us become management educators. Um, I moved little bit into corporate, and then I came back to management education. But he went about starting his own academy on management. So we are going to be talking about this and lots more. So Nilesh, welcome to this particular episode which is there. So let's talk about your Zindagi Ka Safar. Where did you grow up? Uh, where all did you study? What were your aspirations?
First of all, thank you, Tuhin for inviting me on Zindagi Ka Safar. It feels it's absolute honor. At the same time, it's also exciting, to share one's memories in front of a memorable friend. So, just to give you a small, I was born in a very small village. And we were typical Brahmins. So my grandpa was a pujari, with one of those temples. Parents were matric pass. Dad was a worker. Mom was a housewife. I was a typical Gram Panchayat student, Marathi medium vernacular student when I was growing up. But like any other middle class parents, they thought, in the zeal to have a good career for their children, they should move to an urban place like Mumbai. So my parents came to Bombay. And they dumped me in a Keralian Samajan school, So I used to be always amused when I used to hear Sudeep and John talking in Malayalam, because the school that I studied from 7th onwards was a Keralian Samajan school. And we have a beautiful education system in India. I really appreciate it, because if you're good in maths, they consider you hushar, you're intelligent. If you're not so good in maths, maybe God was kind of little okay with numbers. Obviously ended up getting good marks in standard 10. And then if you get good marks in standard 10, then if you're a middle class guy, science is a decided stream. I mean, if you get little less is commerce, and then lesser is arts. So I'm pretty, happy about our system, because they don't confuse you much. Out there in US and the Western world, to do your higher secondary, you have hundreds of options. Poor guy, adolescent phase would be struggling so much to make a choice. We probably go through the grind. So my parents obviously put me in science. Biology was not something which was close to my heart. Dissecting a frog, when the frog used to pop out of your hand, I said, I'm not going to do this. Frog is psyching me out. Frog is psyching me out. I'm sure a human body will psych me out further. So obviously engineering was a choice. Landed with NIT Srinagar and NIT Nagpur. But my dad chose to get me admitted in an engineering college, which was 40 kilometers from my place of growth when I had grown up, my village. So cycle was my best friend for 4 years, every day 30, 40 kilometers cycling, studying in an engineering program known as BTech Petrochemicals. And that's where that commonality comes to Hinda. You worked with Reliance before you came into our MBA program.
Yes.
And for us, Reliance was a dream job. And many of them ended up getting in over there. But for me, petrochemical was like rocket science. I still don't know P of petrochemicals. Again, I love the system of India education system. They normally don't, throw you off. They just take care of you. And mine being the first batch, with 26 of us, you won't believe, Tuhinda, only one girl and 25 guys. Typical Maharashtrian culture. We had a Christian in the class. We had other North Indians in the class and all that. But it was typical Marathi village. You can understand. No hotel, no bus, no hotel. So days were very innocent, to say the least. We used to watch. We used to wait for the Gaukil choris to pass by. And I'll share a secret here. I went there to get married. I married a girl from the same place.
Oh.
Yeah. So then what happened was I got a job in the same locality because I was a local. I was only local over there. One or two of us were there. So obviously in this, I got a job, $1,200, excellent industries.
Wow.
And I got that $1,200 in my hand during the first time. I looked at the monies, the big monies those days, but one thought came to my mind. No, am I happy? And a big answer came from within. No, this is exactly what I don't want to do. जो कर रहा था वो करना नहीं था, करना क्या है ये पता नहीं था. So one of my classmates said, let's get counseled. The first thing I did, I quit the job the same day. That same day I got $1,200. I said, I'm not doing this because my dad is going to get me married here if I'm going to stay, for a couple of years. Those just early day marriages, right? You get married quite early, So obviously parents were aghast. They got really annoyed. We have a BTech petrochemical guy. We waited for this day, all that crap. And I was like, Baba, I don't want to do it. Okay. So next day I went for counseling. And this gentleman's name was Professor Rane, IMS founder. IMS is a big company now. IMS founder. And in a small cabin, he was smoking a lot. It's a dingy kind of 100 square feet room. The first thought came to my mind, gosh, how a chain smoker is going to counsel me? It's not going to be possible. Because my mind was negative. I was little negative, So I was looking at things in my perspectives. But this guy probably gave me the confidence that I should be doing my MBA. Trust me, I'd heard this word for the first time. That spells volumes about my education, my zindagi ka safar till I got into my MBA days. And God was kind, and I was lucky. I cracked the selection process. And we had a lovely time. And I should say this before you ask me the next question, because this is landing in TAPME for the GDPI program. I was aghast. I was amused. I have no adjectives for that place because I came from such a small village, and suddenly you land in an environment where you have educational institutions after institutions. And whom do I meet? Whom do I meet first? It is our own Shetty, Deepak Shetty. Yeah, he was on the panel of my, the GDPI panel, and then we hit a chord, some chemistry. Maybe, sometimes I feel these things are pre-decided by fate. I went to meet Shets and I said, hey, gosh, what a man, what a guy, cool dude, lanky kind of, freak figure. I said, I want to study here. I was waitlisted for a few days, I think, and then I eventually got a call, Not only that, I was in the village, and those were the days of telegram, tar, that comes, and it's very scary. Those tars are always, those days, if something goes wrong, and somebody came scouting for me. I think I was on the cricket field, on the farm. Telegram has come. I said, what happened? And that was my brother saying, hey, dude, you got an admission in your MBA program. Time to pack up. And God was kind. I was lucky. I landed amongst the fellow TAPME 93-95 batch. And trust me, life changed.
So did you take, just as a question, did you take 1 year break from the time, because you said you got the job?
No break. I got a job. Yeah, I got a job in April. Okay. I worked for a month. Okay. I worked for a month, and I think our program started in June, July, August. I was there without a break. So I was like
I somewhere thought the exams were before that. No, it was not before.
Exams were much before that. I got counseled essentially once, few months before I got into the job.
Okay.
But I did not take it seriously.
Okay.
Then came the day when I had to take it seriously.
Okay.
So that is how it was.
Okay. So 93 you passed out, and 93 itself you continued with.
Yeah, I got in. So I remember Ravi Aital was, I think, younger than me. Otherwise, most people were elder to me. Okay, so and my birthday happened to be on our freshers party, and that is where I picked up some good habits,
which is continuing.
Really good habit, which is continuing, for a long time, and I love it. So I don't have any regrets about it. But one girl, I won't name the girl, said, "What a lovely number." That was a word. What a lovely number. And I was wondering, where is a number in this song? Man, it's a good song.
एक दो तीन तो नहीं बोल रहे वगैरह. They're not singing.
तो ऐसा मैं वही सोच रहा था, 1 2 3 है, कुछ तो कहीं तो number ढूंढूं मैं, because numbers came little easily to me, honestly, and that is how maybe in my MBA days, economics, macroeconomics, Ganesh, Obed, those subjects were dear to my heart. And with our core trio of 4-5 of us, me, Nath, Shets, Tingu, Lala, we had a fair bit of fun. But one incident I should narrate. I did share this with my roomie in hostel. It said the room said Nilesh, Vikram, Gautam.
Oh, okay.
In the sheet, okay. So I think Thomas was there as a rector, if I'm not mistaken.
Caretaker, yeah.
Right. So I caretaker. Sorry. So I said there were 2 beds, 2 cupboards, 2 tables. Obviously, you did not have the washroom facilities inside. They were common facilities.
Common facilities.
I just jumped onto one bed, one cupboard. I put my thing because I thought there are 3 people who are going to stay in this room. Vikram Gautam was one individual. For me, in my mind, there were 2 different people. And I shared this with Vikram. I shared this with Vikram, maybe 20 years later, because I didn't have the courage to tell him, gosh, I got it wrong at that point of time, because for me, Vikram was one name, Gautam was another name. So good fun, good old days doing that. I remember catching up with you, one of those guys who had worked in Patalganga, close to my place, Raigad district. Yeah, that's where I had born and brought up. My engineering was there. So somebody from Raigad. Because you know what? In our class, I was only Maharashtrian. Okay. Gitanjali probably knew a fair bit of Marathi. You understood a bit of it. Seniors, there was a Manjrekar, there was a Hegde. I remember there was a Rane. But none of them were core Maharashtrians. Neither seniors nor my class. So I was like the only Ghati to have passed out 93, 95, and a proud one.
I think that's wonderful. So I think TAPME, we have a lot of fun things. And so because of your interest in numbers, I think taking finance was a given as a choice.
Not really. No, not really. I'll tell you honestly. When I was coming, I was told that about the specialization. So there was operations also possible. I was an engineer. I thought I should be forced to do operations. I never understood what Ramesh Kamath taught, though I was good at maths. I'll be very upfront with you. I never understood. Maybe he was a brilliant teacher. No doubt about it. Or maybe I didn't pay attention because I thought it's a cool in mathematics thing. It should come easily to me. The worst was accounts. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out, never got into my system, not even today. I still don't understand how is debit what comes in. So, it is. So I have not understood it, and I choose not to make an attempt to understand it. And then there was microeconomics. Tuhinda, microeconomics, we all learned as engineers y is equal to mx plus c, right? The dependent variable on the y-axis.
Yeah.
Law of demand, law of supply, dependent variable is on the x-axis. Hey, Varambali, our economics, yes. I don't remember.
Yes.
Varambali, you should have told us that law of demand meant dependent variable is on the x-axis. I struggled. I got a 0 in the first internals. 0 to India. So I said, it is this MBA. I think they teach ulta things. I really thought. And then I was also in a system where we had so many lovely young colleagues of ours. Juniors came later on, but seniors, classmates. So obviously, us umar mein, apni nazar idhar jati hai. Come on, let's be practical. So, आधा interest वहां पे था, और आधा interest survive कैसे करना था वो पे था. पढ़ाई पे ध्यान कहाँ देता. So एक एपिसोड मैं जरूर बताना चाहूंगा for our audience and our classmates and your entire audience at large. This episode is on YouTube. Okay, in one of my convocation address, it's about me and Saspi meeting for the first time, and that too in Dairo's cabin when Dairo was at his brutal best because he had just removed Kunal Jha. My best bum chums. Look, my best bum chums were Kunal Jha, Sunny Singh. Pritam Goswami, I used to hang around because they were my hostel mates. Plus, I found them cool. So I probably aligned with them in the first phase. And then one by one, they were just thrown off. And then came a day where a notice was displayed. I think Thomas told me, or notice was displayed that you and Anand S I have been summoned by Dairo. Shit. So that was the first time I met Saspi in Dairo's cabin. And I don't want to get more into that.
But Saspi was in your section, no?
He was in my section, yeah, but see, he was a different character altogether.
And he was
the first. I remember, you all that freshers thing. He was doing all that.
Rap
so I said, rap and all that. मेरे को तो हिंदी गाने भी ठीक तरह नहीं आते तो इंदा. तो ये rap भी तो पहली बार देख रहा था. He was doing all that. I found him cool. But the real interaction was in Dairo's cabin because we were facing a common brutal assault by Dairo on missing out on few classes.
Okay.
And then we realized there is something common between us. That was the outcome, and that's how we got together.
Yeah. Okay. So as I was saying at the starting, because I think once we have decided on taking finance, I think we again given our exposure which was there, because I can exactly relate to what you were talking about. Because when I completed my engineering, I had no idea that there is an MBA which is there. Only when I got a job, placements and all, and then someone came and said, "Oh, I have got into IIM Ahmedabad or Calcutta, or whatever." Like, ये क्यों कर रहे हो? मतलब थोड़ा बहुत मालूम था MTech वगैरह होता है, या some people were trying IS and all. So I think MBA was altogether a very different concept. And then when you're going and studying, the choice finally, whatever we took, maybe because of we liked numbers as engineers, so we took finance. Again, the idea was which career to choose. So I think many of us wanted to go into the stock market and all, and not many companies came up. So I remember, I think you got into some Choromandalam finance, and I got into some Apple industries and all. So how was the initial first one? Like, again, a shock when you got into the job?
So the first thing was like this. I remember when Ganesh Kumar introduced macroeconomics. I think it's second trimester, and Ubaid had got into financial management. I had started to understand a few things. Now, first thing is, if you understand it, you start liking it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the other way around. You like it doesn't mean that necessarily that you will understand it. But if you understand things, you suddenly start feeling, hey, gosh, I'm able to cope up with it. And that's how the interest got developed. And then Ubaid and Ganesh Kumar were kind. They were making the subject difficult for a lot of our classmates. I'll be very upfront. And then came Nilesh Saravte as a teacher for the classmates. So I started taking a few classes. Finance Forum was launched. Under Finance Forum, we said, okay, revision classes. I remember both of us doing a class on Ricardo's theory, comparative advantage.
Correct.
I remember coming and explain our extra classes. So something, because I realized stage was power. That was the trigger. I realized stage was power, dude. And let me try it out. So I got my first job in Nagarjuna Finance. Cholamandalam had come, Nagarjuna. So me and Nagendra Prasad Banduru. Nagendra. So me and Nagu had got into Nagarjuna, and we were there in Hyderabad for a few days, then posted in Bombay. I was posted in Bombay. And then Nagu joined in Bombay, not for Nagarjuna, for some other company. Okay. So I joined the finance investment banking division, glamorous. And then Saspi and Natu were there staying at Worli Seaface. Saspi was a Mudra guy. His work hours only used to start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And Natu was a beer guy, Kingfisher, UB. So his work used to start at 8 o'clock in the evening. So, for me, it was all fun. Investment banking was good. But I had to do something in the evenings, and that is where I got an opportunity to teach. Now, this was an accident. This was also an accident. I had a colleague in my, I can't name her for obvious reasons, in my company, and she used to walk down from Nariman Point to Churchgate to attend her classes in KC College of Management. So I said, let me also walk along with her. I mean, come on, opportunity comes knocking. So let me walk with her. And she got into KC College of Management. And I said, let me know, what do I do? She's going to attend a class of 1.5 hours, which means either I go back off, or if I wait, I might probably, go along again. So I went and met up with the director and I said, sir, I want to teach. So he said, what subject? I said, any subject apart from IT. I mean, I'm as bad at IT even today that I was. I don't know whether you remember Velankar, no, our professor?
Revankar.
IT professor? Revankar had put my paper on the notice board saying, this is not how a paper has to be answered. So that bad I was. So I said, I told this director of KC, no, I'm not going to, I cannot teach IT, but anything. He said, can you teach advertising? And then I think मेरे जहन में सस्ती घुस गया उसने शायद. So I said, okay. And I get into a class. There are 120 plus South Bombay students sitting in an advertising class. And the class that has got cancelled, the professor's name is Atul Tandon, the guy who created Nivea, the ex-chairman and managing director of JL Morrison. Obviously, great fan following for him. So the class was full. And I took a session on advertising through microeconomics of monopolistic competition. Then that was the birth of me as a teacher. I said, I remember stage is power. And I realized I quit my job, by the way, then and there, maybe I decided I'm going to get into education. That's how the journey of being MBA educator started. I wanted to teach in the best school in Bombay, which was SP Jain. So in 1996, that's 25 years back, I walk into SP Jain and the dean says, you're too young, dude, my students are elder than you. So I said, okay, sir, how does it matter? So he said, I'll give you a chance. And SP Jain started. So I was an adjunct with SP Jain for almost 12, 13 years. And meanwhile, I had to pick up a job because I quit my job and I was to get married. The days come and the Sasur said, Nakki kartos kai. What do you do exactly?
What do you do?
What do you do exactly? On the day of my marriage also, he asked me. I'll be very honest. So, I said, I do this, I do training, I do teaching, I get in the corporates. They are big, they are doctors. My wife is a doctor. So they're a doctor's family. So I had to pick up a job and then IMS came my way. I joined as a simple IMS, the same company. The promoter, Mr. Rane, who had guided me. I joined them as a product manager. It was all journey. In 2007, 2008, I became the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of their test prep division, the largest for IMS. And then a couple of years later, because I was sick of dealing with the private equity guys, I'll be very honest, I started this firm known as Academia, which manages management schools. Currently, we are managing 5 B schools and deal with at least 30, 40 others, but primarily 5 B school. That's a business model. Little different. People find it difficult to understand, but you do something for a living, right? And so, this came naturally. I enjoyed it. One thing to end up, as far as my professional or personal career is concerned, for the last whatever years, especially after MBA, it has been choice driven, not compulsion driven. So God has been very kind. Post MBA, everything that I did was choice driven and not something. Some choices went wrong, obviously. That happens with everyone. So much so that I opened a lounge bar. Can you believe that? Because I wanted to have a drink, sit in my place and have my drink. So I did all those natak, authored a book, which was a series taught abroad, did everything that in the context of MBA education. Today I sit, probably running a small business model, a very small business model. But again, a choice-driven thing. Obviously, we operate under distress. So because we take charge of a ship that is failing to sail. And our job is to make it sail, smooth sail. So something which is sinking, first to get it to sail and then to have a smooth sail, it's a tough proposition. But we enjoy doing it. And more the distress in the industry, better it is for us. So sometimes my colleagues tell me, sir, COVID, lockdowns, online sessions, people struggling, I think it should help us. Fingers crossed. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think you did the perfect thing of using your talent, your intellect, plus your passion, which is there. And I think, though you are into management education, but I think you approach it more from a problem solving and you work as a consultant and you are not scared to dirty your hands. So you will just get into it and show them how it is to be done and get it going. Okay, so one question about, because since you have been part of management education, not only as a student, but you have also got associated with good organizations like SP Jain as an example, and now you with multiple organizations. So how have you seen the management education evolve over a number of years? Because we are talking about 25 plus years of, you would have seen how management education has happened.
I will tell you by my just experience. When we were doing our MBA, we had singular market dynamics. When I say singular market dynamics, means a single market, law of demand, law of supply, premium demand, outstripping supply, sometimes supply outstripping demand. Those were the days. As days have moved ahead, the market has got split into at least three market dynamics. So there are three markets within a market. And I operate in the third market. I'll be very upfront. The first market obviously is the premier B school. So B schooling has evolved. No two ways about it. The IMDs, Lawsons of the world, the Kellogg's of the world, the Harvards, the ISBs, the IIMs, they have all evolved. Brilliant. They have become much better than what they were. In terms of quality, in terms of quantity, even in terms of pricing, in terms of the outcome, everything. So that's a different market altogether. That's a real B schooling, and I would put TAPME as a part of it because it's one of the two institutions in our country which is Triple Crown accredited. Not too many people know about it. So it's crazy. It's brilliant. Then you have the second lot, which has evolved in the last 25 years. Wherein this lot operates the way the market used to operate when we were doing our MBA.
Okay.
The second market thing is exactly similar to what used to happen. So demand sometimes outstripping supply, supply outstripping demand, but everyone putting in efforts. So what TAPME would have done 25 years back is what is being attempted to be done by this group of colleges in the second dynamic. And third dynamics, it's all crappish, to be very honest, but there are hundreds of them. And post-liberalization and, in that phase from 91 to 2008, India saw a plethora of MBA schools, 4,000 plus. Okay, so you take out the top 1% from Indian context, that's the market one. Then take out another 6% to 12%, that's market two. And the rest, which is whopping 87%, is market three. Okay, so if you ask me, it had become bazaar. It was business. It still happens to be business. And then I said, I can't turn the tide. Okay, I can't change the flow. So let me get into business or business education. So I honestly have business interest in market three. I do deal with market two in the capacity of a value add. And I always look forward in the market one, with the IIMs of the world or the SP Jains to align in some capacity. So that's the way it is. So the MBA market has definitely evolved. I will make a statement in Bombay, 95% of MBA colleges don't know what is MBA and they still are making an attempt to run an MBA. So it's all rubbish. And AICTE has been the culprit because they gave permissions to everyone. It became a proper business. And then came the American Depression, 2008, everything crashed. So, still
not recovered.
It cannot recover. Europe has not recovered. Europe, in the European Union, out of the 26 countries, there are only 6 countries which have a full-time MBA. 20 countries don't have a full-time MBA. Now that's Europe for you. It's crazy. They have brilliant campuses, great hostels, only weekend program. That's it. So point is, the MBA market has evolved drastically, but people are claiming to do MBA without understanding it. I mean, that is a whopping 90% plus. So that is how it is.
And I think what you are saying gets reflected to what sometimes we look at from the output perspective, and many times they talk about 80% plus MBA graduates or even engineers as an example are not employable because as you rightly said, maybe the course name is same. They still might have a security analysis and portfolio management, but whether they're actually learning anything which will make them to be a good security analyst or maybe a portfolio manager is always doubtful.
I will just give I'll just give an example. Bombay University, which is one of the reputed universities, their management program in the second year, they have a subject which is into risk management, derivatives, F&O and all that. And you know what they learn? Students learn accounting of F&O. Come on, I mean, that is the thing, and you can't do anything about it. I hate aligning myself with the university program. I love the PGDM program, but because of my, it's a professional hazard for me. I have to deal. And then what do you do? What do you see? Accounting is what you have to learn. And you're talking about F&O. Who is going to take this kid? The kid may be good, but you not have the upgradation that is needed as far as the industry is concerned.
Okay, I think we have got a good idea about what you do, what you have been doing. Let's understand a little bit more about you as a person. So we come to the last segment, which we call it Ask Me Anything, or AMA. Yeah. So let me start with the first one, since you are a teacher. So what will be the weirdest thing which you have done as a student, which your teachers are not aware of, or your teacher or your teachers were not aware of? Something crazy which you have done as a student.
Okay. School days, I was a very, very nice student, because nice in the sense, the only thing I remember not studious. I used to always enjoy sports. So the worst that I would have done, I used to pick up the water bottles that are there, outside. The bottles used to be kept outside the class, because otherwise the water gets spilled. So I was the biggest. I used to pick up one water bottle which looked like a ball, and I used to just whack it up. लेके जाता था, मैं फुटबॉल खेलना चालू कर दिया. तो मैं पकड़ा भी गया उसके ऊपर, and I had to apologize. Obviously there was a remark, and I got a serious beating from my mom. My dad was kind, but my mom just took on me. So that was the weirdest during school days. Engineering days, I remember we had university practicals, third year. Okay, something to do with some chemicals, beer manufacturing, something like that. So I was never interested. And that day,
you should have been.
No, manufacturing is not.
But the beer...
No, I prefer consumption. Not production. So what happened was that day in the morning, one of those guys from the village, we used to have a Gauka cricket team. So there was a big tournament 16 kilometers away. Big prize money, 501 rupees. And those days, what happened? If you hit a 4, you might get 1 rupee. If you hit 2 back-to-back 4s, 5 rupees. Maybe a hat trick or 2 wickets in over 10 rupees. Somebody used to give.
Okay.
Oh, that was the game. So that was my source of income during engineering days. So I just got carried away. I went in the morning, and then we moved ahead. 3 o'clock was my practical time. It slipped my mind. It's a final practicals. And then it is 4:30 in the evening. Okay, we are now getting into semi-final. Okay. I remember, and then I see one of my roomie, Yogesh Kilkar, roomie with his cycle, 16 kilometers he has ridden, okay, in search of me, because he got to know. He comes, hey, Sotia. They used to call me Sotia those days. Sarote became Sotia. So, Sotia, tujhe practical hai. You have your practical. Oh, shit, university practicals. So, I was batting that point of time. So I said, let me get out, then only I'll come. It's not that I want to go. And I actually got out on the second or the third ball, trying to whack, because now I had to balance it. Rushed back, okay. They were to close it down. So one of my teachers were kind enough to putify that invigilator that has come. External that had come. Usko leke gaya. My other teacher did my practical, and I was standing because I didn't know what to do. That was the weirdest that happened. And MBA, there are plenty, which I am sure you are aware of.
Okay.
MBA, one I'll tell you, MBA, me and SSP, okay. If this is going to reach out to SSP, is going to whack the shit out of me. We used to stay outside in the second year. First year in the hostel, and second year we moved out. Me and Lala moved out, but I used to be predominantly with Sheds, Nath, and SSP. Sometimes Tingu used to be there. So रात को हम सोते रहते थे, and early morning, बाजू में सोते थे. Early morning we had a habit, used to just pick up a fag, okay. उठेंगे भी नहीं. We used to pick up a fag, okay, light the fag and through the matchstick. मतलब cool dude है ना हम दोनों. तो ऐसे सोए, me and SSP सोए हुए, cigarette lit कर दी, और match वो wax वाली matchstick थी, वो बुझती नहीं है फट करके. So I just flicked it. It went and landed on Nath's calculator on the table. The entire table caught fire.
Shit.
And we were like, crazy, what happened? Then I realized that matchstick landed barobar se on the most inflammable thing that probably man has produced, and it caught fire. So crazy things, crazy memories.
Okay, that's a good one. Not to be attempted by anyone who is seeing it. Yeah. So, okay. What will be the worst and the best thing about being a teacher?
Worst is you have to control your emotions. Okay, this is what I have realized it. And the best is, when somebody laughs or somebody expresses emotions, the feeling that you get. So very simple answer. You cannot afford to be emotional when you're on stage, and you live for the emotions of the audience.
Yeah, even small appreciation. वो चेहरे पे दिख गया कि उनको समझ में आ गया तो your day is made.
It's a kick, and that's what you look forward to. So yeah.
Okay. The next one, let's talk about some recommendation on vacation, because you have traveled across the globe, plus within India also. You have always tried to figure out or chill out. So what will be some unique vacation spots for you?
Okay, the unique, if it is India, there is only one for me, honestly, that's Goa. Okay, I have traveled from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, kind of a thing, because of my job, not because my job in IMS was that I had to set centers all around the country. Obviously, when you try to go there, you just have a fair bit of vacation. So, but in India, of course, Goa, but I will not talk about it since your people, Indians mostly are aware of it. Maybe a broad option that I would recommend is Bled in Slovenia. Okay, see, I have a partner, B School, over there in Bled, IEDC, and that place is second to none. In fact, better than any place. I mean, I always tell this in my lectures. I find it strange why Indians go to Switzerland for a honeymoon. Hilly area, difficult terrain, difficult task. Why don't people go to a place like Bled? Because it's much, much, much cleaner, healthier, non-corrupted. Oh, awesome. So my recommendation, go to Bled, maybe spend some time in Ljubljana, go to Zagreb, Croatia. I think your days would be done. It's a great place to be in. You're not in mainland Europe, it's Central Europe, but you still are in mainland Europe. It's awesome. The Baltic areas are brilliant.
Yeah, that's a good one. So I think definitely I'll keep it in my bucket list whenever there's opportunity to travel abroad. Okay. The next one goes, if you could meet and spend one day with any person who has ever lived, who would it be and why? Lived or living? Yeah. So
okay, so I would take somebody from history, maybe somebody from history, someone like Fatima Jinnah and Muhammad Ali Jinnah. That Jodi, either of them. Probably try to ask them, what made them think that there was a need of a separate Pakistan, and they had that staunch. I had tried studying Jinnah. I really wanted to get into his mind, but can't, by just reading and researching. Very unfortunate incident that would have happened in 1947, the partition that took away, that killed so many people, that probably created that rift, that wound, which will take years and maybe generations to heal. And I think the root of the problem originated from the Jinnahs, and I stand by it.
They were very adamant about having a separate state.
There was a guy called Iqbal also in that whole thing. If you read Pakistan by Imran Khan, he talks a bit about it. But I think Muhammad Ali Jinnah, followed by Fatima Jinnah's sister, are the ones whom I would have loved to understand and assess as what made them feel. But since it had happened, I'm sure they would have had some merit, but the outcomes had tremendous amount of demerit. So it was something which was not thought about.
Okay, let's come to the last question. That in case you're going to be throwing a dinner party for your friends, let's assume me. So what will you have in your menu?
Okay. So first of all, if it's going to be a party, it needs to be a full party, which means you need to have everything on the house. The scotch has to be there, the wine has to be there, and even the vodka has to be there. So that goes without saying. Personal, I would not. See, for me personally, it's always been the Goan fish curry rice, which we don't have it at home. We are Brahmin, so I'm not trying. I don't believe in any caste and stuff like that. But by ritual, we are not allowed. So not allowed. So I would obviously love the seafood spread for all my guests, assuming they also like it. But in case there are vegetarian, so the vegetarian options like the kheers, and the, I don't know whether one and bhat kind of a thing. So a typical Maharashtrian dishes which includes a pitla and maybe a dal, which is not fried, plain dal with a little bit of pure ghee, and then the batate ki sabji, and I think
it's awesome.
That would make the day for my guests, whether they're vegetarian or non-vegetarian. And of course, followed by some dessert, which is Indianized.
Dessert. I was about to say, as a Bengali, how did you forget it?
No, completely Indianized desserts. Indianized desserts. If it is the summertime, then maybe amras. And if it's non-summertime, maybe a shira or a kheer kind of a thing. Srikhand, absolutely. Yeah. So very simple stuff. I've always lived my life in a very simple manner. Sometimes I am high profile, but not otherwise as a person. It's always been simple stuff. And I choose to be. I told you, they're all choices that were made by me. So that's it.
Okay, that's lovely. So I think there is so much, because I know you as a person, and I think we could have spoken for hours about the Zindagi which is there, and we are talking about close to 50 years of life for you guys. So there will be so many things which is there, which we are somehow trying to compress, as we said. And now we have got expert. Now you have a 45-minute class, so you will ensure that there is someone else standing outside. Yeah. So we will wrap it up at this particular point in time, and I really thank you because there is so much to be learned, and I think you are doing a wonderful work by not only molding a lot of young minds through everything which you are doing, and you are always able to impress people, and specifically I've seen your interaction with the students and all. They just love you and they dote on you. So keep doing the good work, and we'll catch up sometime. Thanks a lot for coming over.
Thank you so much, Tuinda. It's always a pleasure. Goodbye till we meet again. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.